History of Burgundy. Burgundy is the land where terroir became philosophy. Its story begins with the Romans, who first planted vines in the region, but it was the medieval monasteries, particularly the Cistercians and Benedictines, that meticulously mapped the vineyards, recognizing that each slope, each soil, each exposure gave wine a unique voice. This devotion to terroir created Burgundy's patchwork of climates, small parcels that today form the backbone of its identity. By the 14th century, Burgundy's wines were prized across Europe, and in the modern era, the region became synonymous with precision and purity. Burgundy's legacy is not one of grand estates, but of small vineyards, each a jewel in the mosaic of terroir, producing wines that whisper of place with unmatched clarity. Côte de Nuit. Stretching from Dijon down to Nuits-Saint-Georges, the Côte de Nuit is Burgundy's proud kingdom of Pinot Noir. Here, marl and limestone soils cradle the vines, giving birth to reds of extraordinary perfume, depth, and longevity. Every slope, every parcel speaks with its own voice, yet together they form the most prestigious corridor in Burgundy, where Pinot Noir achieves its noblest expression. In Gevrey-Chambertin, power and structure dominate. These wines are often called the wine of kings, bold and muscular, built to endure decades. They carry the authority of the land, commanding respect with every sip. Move south to Vosne-Romanée, and the tone shifts to sensuality. Perfumed and alluring, Vosne-Romanée is home to Romanée-Conti, the most famous vineyard in the world. Its wines are silken, layered, and profound, embodying the very soul of Pinot Noir. In Chambolle-Musigny, delicacy reigns. The wines are ethereal, often described as feminine, with a silky texture and haunting elegance. Chambolle whispers where Gevrey roars, offering a gentler, more poetic side of Burgundy. And then there is Clos de Vougeot, a historic Grand Cru enclosed by ancient walls. Within its vast vineyard, styles vary depending on parcel, yet the name itself carries centuries of prestige. Clos de Vougeot is Burgundy's monument to history, a reminder that terroir and tradition are inseparable. Together, these appellations form the voice of the Côte de Nuit, Gevrey's power, Vosne's perfume, Chambolle's delicacy, and Vougeot's heritage. To taste them is to walk Burgundy's most hallowed corridor, where Pinot Noir speaks with clarity, nobility, and timeless grace. Côte de Beaune. South of the Côte de Nuit lies the Côte de Beaune, a land where Chardonnay reigns supreme, though Pinot Noir also finds its voice. Here, limestone soils shimmer beneath the vines, giving birth to whites of brilliance, minerality, and complexity. The Côte de Beaune is Burgundy's radiant corridor, where Chardonnay shines with purity and grandeur, and each village speaks with its own accent. In Marceau, richness and texture define the wines. They are nutty, generous, and layered, often carrying notes of hazelnut, butter, and ripe stone fruit. Marceau is the voice of opulence, wines that envelop the palate with warmth and depth. Move to Puligny-Montrachet, and the tone shifts to elegance and precision. These wines are mineral-driven, taut, and refined, epitomizing the crystalline purity of Chardonnay. Puligny is Burgundy's scalpel, carving wines of finesse that age with grace. In Chassagne-Montrachet, power and structure dominate. The whites are bold, muscular, and complex, often with a smoky edge, while the reds, rare but notable, add another dimension to the village's reputation. Chassagne is Burgundy's strong hand, wines that combine force with sophistication. At the pinnacle stands Corton Charlemagne, a Grand Cru of immense depth and longevity. These wines are monumental, layered with citrus, spice, and minerality, evolving for decades into masterpieces of complexity. Corton Charlemagne is Burgundy's cathedral, a wine that inspires reverence and awe. Together, these appellations form the voice of the Côte de Beaune, Marceau's richness, Puligny's precision, Chassagne's power, and Corton Charlemagne's grandeur. To taste them is to walk Burgundy's luminous path, where Chardonnay speaks with clarity, brilliance, and timeless grace. Chablis. Further north, away from the Côte d'Or, lies Chablis, a region isolated in geography but utterly integral to Burgundy's identity. Here, the vines root themselves in ancient Kimmeridgian limestone, soils rich with fossilized seashells that impart a steely minerality to Chardonnay. The wines of Chablis are pure, crystalline, and unmistakable, tasting of stone, sea, and sky. At its entry level, Petit Chablis offers freshness and approachability. These wines are lively, citrus-driven, and perfect for everyday enjoyment, carrying the essence of Chablis in a lighter voice. The classic Chablis AOC speaks with clarity and precision, crisp, citrus-driven, and mineral-laced. These wines embody the region's signature style, refreshing yet profound wines that pair effortlessly with seafood and simple fare. Step into Premier Cru, and the depth intensifies. These wines show greater complexity, subtle floral notes, and layered minerality. Each climate, Montée de Tonnerre, Fauchaume, Vaillant, reveals its own nuance, proving that even within Chablis, terroir speaks in many dialects. At the pinnacle stand the Grand Crus, 7 climates clustered on a single hillside above the town. Names like Les Clos and Vaudésir produce wines of immense power and longevity, capable of aging for decades. These are monumental Chardonnays, combining richness with piercing minerality, wines that rival the greatest whites of the Côte de Beaune. Chablis is Burgundy's purest voice. It strips Chardonnay down to its essence, revealing the grape's dialogue with limestone and climate. To taste Chablis is to taste the memory of ancient seas distilled into liquid brilliance, a wine that whispers of purity and permanence. Mâconnais. South of the Côte Chalonnaise lies the Mâconnais, a region that greets us with warmth and generosity. This is Burgundy's most welcoming face, where Chardonnay thrives in rolling hills and sunlit slopes, producing wines that are approachable, expressive, and full of charm. At the entry level, Mâcon Villages offers freshness and fruit-driven delight. These wines are lively, filled with notes of apple, pear, and citrus, often enjoyed young for their vibrancy. They are the everyday companions of Burgundy, wines that bring joy without pretense. At the pinnacle of the region stands Pouilly-Fuissé, where Chardonnay takes on greater richness and structure. Here, the wines are layered, often touched by oak, with flavors of ripe stone fruit, hazelnut, and a mineral backbone that ensures longevity. Pouilly-Fuissé is the Mâconnais' proud ambassador, proving that this southern region can rival the elegance of the Côte de Beaune. Together, Mâcon Village and Pouilly-Fuissé embody the spirit of the Mâconnais, wines that are both accessible and expressive, crafted for pleasure yet capable of depth. To taste the Mâconnais is to feel Burgundy's embrace, a region that invites us in with generosity, offering Chardonnay that speaks with clarity, warmth, and sincerity. Côte Chalonnaise. Between the grandeur of the Côte d'Or and the welcoming warmth of the Mâconnais lies the Côte Chalonnaise, a region often overlooked, yet brimming with authenticity and value. Here, both Pinot Noir and Chardonnay find their voice, shaped by limestone and marl soils that lend character and charm to the wines. In Mercurey, Pinot Noir speaks with structure and depth. These reds are firm, robust, and built with a backbone that allows them to age gracefully. Mercurey is the Côte Chalonnaise's anchor, wines that carry weight and seriousness, proving that this region can rival its northern neighbors. Move to Givry, and the tone softens into elegance. The Pinot Noir here are aromatic, supple, and refined, often showing notes of cherry, spice, and floral lift. Givry is Burgundy's gentle poet, wines that charm with grace rather than force, offering a more delicate interpretation of Pinot Noir. In Roulis, Chardonnay takes the spotlight, producing whites of freshness and balance, crisp, mineral-driven, and versatile. They embody the purity of the grape. Roulis is also the birthplace of Crémant de Bourgogne, sparkling wines that bring joy and conviviality, proving that Burgundy's voice can sparkle as well as whisper. Together, Mercurey's depth, Givry's elegance, and Roulis' brightness form the chorus of the Côte Chalonnaise. Though it may not carry the fame of the Côte de Nuit or the Côte de Beaune, this region offers remarkable value and authenticity. To taste the Côte Chalonnaise is to discover Burgundy's hidden treasures, wines that speak honestly of their land, crafted for pleasure and rich with character. Laws and classifications. In Burgundy, hierarchy is not about wealth or grandeur, it is about terroir. The region's devotion to place has created a system unlike any other, one that honors the vineyard itself as sacred. At the foundation lie the regional appellations, Bourgogne Rouge and Bourgogne Blanc. These entry-level wines are the gateway to Burgundy, offering a taste of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay in their simplest, most approachable form. Step higher and you reach the village appellations. Wines here bear the names of their villages, Gevrey-Chambertin, Marceau, Pouligny-Montrachet, each carrying the identity of its land. These wines speak more clearly of terroir, showing the nuances of soil, slope, and climate. Within the villages lie the premier cru, specific climates that elevate complexity and depth. These parcels, meticulously defined, produce wines of greater structure and refinement. Premier Cru is Burgundy's promise of excellence, wines that reveal the subtleties of terroir with precision. At the pinnacle stand the Grand Crus, 33 climats that represent Burgundy's highest expression. Names like Aumenet-Conti, Montrachet, and Corton are whispered with reverence, wines that embody perfection and command global prestige. Each Grand Cru is a monument to terroir, producing wines of unmatched longevity and character. All of this is safeguarded by the AOC system, Appellation d'Origine Contrôlée. Strict rules govern grape varieties, Pinot Noir for reds, Chardonnay for whites, as well as yields and methods, ensuring authenticity. In Burgundy, classifications are not about estates or chateaux, but about vineyards. Each parcel is a sacred expression of terroir, a voice in Burgundy's eternal chorus. To understand Burgundy's laws and classifications is to understand its soul, a region where place is everything, and where every vineyard, from humble Bourgogne to exalted Romanée-Conti, tells its own story of soil, grape, and devotion. Burgundy is not a region of grandeur, but of intimacy. Its wines do not shout, they whisper, revealing layers of place and time. From the power of Gevrey-Chambertin to the luminosity of Montrachet, from the purity of Chablis to the generosity of Pouilly-Fuissé, Burgundy is a mosaic of terroir, each a voice in the chorus of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. To taste Burgundy is to taste the philosophy of terroir itself, a dialogue between soil, grape, and human devotion, distilled into liquid poetry.